Welcome to Experts Unleashed, a podcast that aims to uncover how professionals and entrepreneurs transform their experience into income while making a positive impact in the world. I'm your host, Joel Irway, and over the past 4 years, I've helped entrepreneurs develop and launch their expert-based businesses to grow past 6 and 7 figures per year. Now, a professional expert serves their community through paid training, education, or service, and this podcast will show you how to design and execute your plan to become a 6 or 7 figure expert without a big team. So, let's get started. What's up, experts? It's Joel here, and you are going to love this interview that I just got off of with Immy Tariq. Now, if you are somebody who is always chasing ideas and trying to find the new opportunity, I want you to pay attention to this episode because this is a story and a journey that so many people go through in different forms, and they can. I'm sure that you can relate to Immy's journey. Somebody who came from the UK, he needed to find $600,000 in order to move to the United States. We discuss exactly how he was able to do that, and then once he got over to the United States, what happened that basically caused him to hit the reset button and go into so much pain and anguish. He had health issues, financial issues, and how he was able to claw his way back out of that. This interview is all about the journey of opportunity, and you are going to love this episode. Stay tuned, take a listen, take notes, and enjoy. Immy, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited to jump into our interview today. We just wrapped up our pre-podcast interview. I know the direction of where I want to go, and I know my audience is going to love this episode. So before I jump in and start peppering you with all sorts of questions, because I'm giddy like a schoolgirl, I love asking questions. Give our audience, give our listeners just a quick 30 to 60 second introduction about who is Immy and what are we going to be talking about today.
Okay, I'm a #1 best-selling author in digital footprint and turning them into leads, because every business needs to create leads to grow their businesses. And I focus heavily on SEO and reputation management. And I believe that everybody has a skill and it should be monetized in a way to help change the world for the better.
Awesome. So you focus on SEO. You've been building this business for a while. I know you just came back. You've got an interview on CNN and CNBC, which is going to be airing very, very soon. But I'm excited to dive deep into your origin story and figure out how we got to this point, how you got to this point. So let's start in the very beginning, right? You wanted to go to Harvard Business School. Like, tell our audience about that story, because I want people to understand. My core focus with this podcast, I want people to know the origin story and how to see opportunity and pivot. So let's start at the very, very beginning with Harvard. What happened there?
Okay, so since I was about 6 years old, I wanted to go to Harvard Medical School initially. And then as I applied for medical school and got into Harvard, I decided I didn't want to do medicine. So I took a year off and I was going to go for the MBA program. But at the time, I met my wife, who I was dating. And she said to me, why do you want to do the MBA and go to Harvard if you not want to run your own business? And I thought to myself, I said, she's right. And at the very same time, I read an article that she sent me by Richard Branson. He said the best way to build a business is to go and do it, forget the business schools. And then another mentor of mine said, those who go to business school generally don't create their own businesses. It's all theory. The only ones who can really teach you are the ones who've been in business. So I thought to myself, let me leave Harvard Business School and leave Harvard Medical School and start entrepreneurship. And that was the start of it all.
How old were you? You said you were 18?
No, I was, when I applied and got to Harvard Medical School, I was 22. And I was applying at the same time to go to Harvard Business School. I never put the application in the end to the business school, despite getting to Harvard Medical School. But 22. So basically, at 21, I lost both. Well, at 20, I lost both my parents, and a couple of days before my 21st, I lost my dad. And I created a tutoring business, which was just on the side since I didn't want a job, and I had no direction of where I wanted to go other than going to medical school. And at the time, I didn't know what I really wanted to do, and I helped some friends out with some real estate and got some paid from there. But it wasn't really a business of a business. I was investing. It was a business in a sense, but it wasn't actually what I would call a proper business. It was just me helping people out and getting them paid commission on it. So I wasn't a realtor. I was just investing with these people and helping them with the financial side of things. But I knew I always wanted to pursue entrepreneurship and something I was passionate about. Because real estate wasn't my passion. It's just something that came into my lap where I knew that I was starving and I didn't have any money to live on for the past 60 days. So, and the tutoring was only getting off the ground. So it's like, here's a good way to make some money to buy myself some time, and just took off from there. But it was never really my end goal. My end goal was always to go into technology and really impact people in a way that would make the world better off, and I would leave it.
Okay, so really your first business was tutoring, right? That was the first time you were actually generating revenue, generating sales, generating money?
Well, yeah, in my adult years. I had a business in my younger years where I used to help people fix their music tracks. But again, I didn't really advertise or anything, just word of mouth. So I was 12 years old and I learned how to piece the different things, because everyone back in the day, go about 12, 13 years ago, everyone used some KaZaa to download all the music illegally and get hacked and viruses and all sorts. So I learned that since they were doing this, I can fix their viruses and I can also fix their music tracks. So I would remove the virus from their music tracks and then repair their tracks using software that I bought. And by doing it, I would just sell it for a lot of money. And I was still making it cheaper than what they had when they at the official stores.
So let me get this straight. You were helping people who stole music illegally fix their illegally broken music tracks?
And their computers as well, because the computers
and their
were so
computers.
bad cameras.
Okay, got it. I was going to say.
I was like 12. I thought, let me just see. It was a game to me at the time.
How much were you charging for that?
Well, I charged about 50% off for the music tracks to repair those, and for the computers, because a lot of these people were high school students going to universities and would lose their interviews and everything, because the viruses were very prominent and dangerous at the time. So by me helping them repair the machines, I could charge them £400 or £500. So I was 12 years old. I made about 12,000 in about 2 months. And I was recovering the data as well, actually. So the music track I just did as a bonus, because that was the incentive to get them to pay me for the other stuff.
So the music was a bonus, but you ultimately helped them save their computers with all their information on it. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's why I actually made the money. It's just like I help them for a bit just to make them come back to me every time.
Awesome. So you were at 12 years old, you were the expert in fixing computers and getting rid of viruses. Amazing. Selling for $400 to $500 each. All right. So that was your first venture. So it's 12 years old, started making money, and you caught the bug, you caught the itch, and you would never be cured again. You'd be forever bitten by the entrepreneurship bug.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So at age 12, started charging £400 to £500 a piece to fix computers, made about 12 grand in a couple of months. That's amazing. Then by 22, you started a tutoring business. How much were you charging for that, roughly?
£100 an hour is what I was making at the time.
So $100 an hour.
Yes.
And was it a specific subject, or was it just kind of general?
I was doing basically the sciences and maths, and I would take the students from U grades to A grades, and I knew how to create a framework to get them up very quickly.
So you took them from a failing grade to a passing grade to an A grade, right?
Yes, an A grade.
Is that how you positioned your offer when you sold your tutoring?
Yeah, I told them, I'll get you into A grade in 90 days. I'll give you money back.
Get an A in 90 days. A in 90 days. Amazing. Okay, cool. So you found another opportunity with tutoring, took them from failing to an A within 90 days or your money back. Unbelievable. Charging them $100 an hour. So then you decided you wanted to go to Harvard Medical School. Then you scrapped that idea, wanted to go to Harvard Business School, scrapped that idea. And so you said, you're just going to start your own business. So fast forward now, you needed to make some money, right? Your passion wasn't in real estate, but you knew there was an opportunity in real estate. Like, explain to me how you came about that real estate opportunity. Like, tell me the backstory of like, okay, what was your financial situation right here? Like, you knew you wanted to get into tech. Tell me a little bit about this backstory and how you found this opportunity.
Okay, so with the real estate, what happened was one of my friends had an apartment they were buying for about £250,000, and they knew that with the renovations they could flip it for $2 million. So they were about $20,000 short, and I could get the cash for them and on my own credit card. So I managed to learn how to manipulate credit to get massive credit lines very, very quickly. So I said to them, I'll get you the credit and borrow my card, full rates and everything. In exchange, you give me a piece of the equity of the deal. They agreed. And basically, so I flipped the property with them. So I took out a $12,000 loan on my credit card. This is what I had at the time. And basically, I had to pay that off within 90 days if I want to pay interest. So I said I had to get this done in 90 days with these guys. So as we sold it, they paid off my card and they gave me a bonus of about again and again with different, with different opportunities that they came across. Because they like to buy properties and renovate them or flip them for a couple million. In the right locations, the right time, you get the luck to do so. So that's what I did.
So, okay, you cut out for a second there. So you took out a $12,000 loan. You had to pay it off in 90 days if you wanted to avoid the interest, right?
Yes.
So the part where you cut out was where you flipped it. I mean, where this all came about. So
yeah, so we flipped it afterwards in 90 days for about $2 million.
So what was the equity?
I took about 100,000 out of that plus the loan. That was my equity.
So you got like $112,000 from that.
Yes.
In 90 days.
Yes.
But you carried the risk, right? You carried most of the risk.
Yes.
Did that scare you? I mean, how did you?
Terrifying. I puked at the time because not literally out of the home again. Because when my dad died, I had to get an income in to be able to pay and live. So, and I managed to do it with tutoring, but I never aimed to scale it. It was just doing something on the side whilst I was trying to find some direction in life and traveling across the globe to see what I wanted to do. Because I had no sense of direction. With loss of both of my parents, I was mostly traumatized. I didn't know what I wanted to do even. I needed time to recover from the shock of it all.
That's a crazy story, man. So you weren't really in real estate investing. You were basically a financer.
I helped them finance it, yes.
Would you ever do that again?
If I know the people and I know the opportunity, yes. I would have to trust the person though in order to do it, as well as a written contract. I wouldn't just do it with anyone. So I always say do your due diligence in whatever you want to do. But you've got to look for the opportunity. And a lot of people don't realize that opportunities start with family or friends. And a lot of people, if you set the expectations correctly at the beginning, and you have it in writing, because a lot of people will speak about it and they think they both have the same expectations. But put it on paper exactly really clarifies what the expectations are on both sides. It avoids a lot of the drama and trouble. Mm-hmm. So by doing that with these guys, and I helped them finance it, it really helped me get what I wanted and what they wanted.
So you were able to flip this property, or you were able to flip this finance deal. So you flipped $12,000 in credit against your name and turned that into $100,000 profit in 90 days. That must have been, I can't imagine how terrifying that would be. I mean, because you didn't really have the $12K. It was credit. I mean, it was a loan that you took out against your name. So you were carrying all the risk. Oh man, props to you for coming out of that one. I mean, that's amazing. All right. So here we go. During the path and the journey, right? So you started out age 12, fixing computer viruses and helping people get their hacked music back on track. Then you went into tutoring, charging $100 an hour, turned your failing grade into an A in 90 days. You found an opportunity there. Then you went into financing space and real estate investing. You made $100,000 in 90 days. However, carried a ton of risk with that. Where are we now? So what was the goal? Let me ask this question. What was the goal of really doing the real estate flipping, like that financial investing? Like you said earlier, you didn't really want to do that. Yep.
To buy myself time so I could really think about what I want to do and also help raise the money for paying for Harvard because it's expensive. An MBA there is $200,000.
So you still want to go to Harvard at this point?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this was really to fund Harvard.
Yeah, to fund Harvard and to fund my life in America. That's all it was for.
Okay.
Because I knew since I was 9 years old as well, I wanted to live in the United States. I didn't like London that much.
Got it.
A lot of people love London. I think it's a great place to visit, not my place to live. I always wanted to live in the United States. That was my dream.
Got it. Okay. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that your mission with flipping that credit was to get to the United States and to fund your passion to get to Harvard. I thought at this point you had already scrapped the idea of going to business school. Okay. So, all right, the motivation then was essentially you needed to come up with about 200 grand to fund Harvard, right? And to get to the United States.
Well, I needed more than that. To get to the United States, I had to pay $30,000 for a visa. Then I had to pay for a living for a couple of years and for a year after at least. So I needed about $500,000 to $600,000.
Oh my God, man. Critical piece of the story you left out. So you needed to raise about $500,000 to get to the United States to fund your passion, right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Because
most people,
I was going to say, as an international student, we can't get student loans for graduate school here. So you have to pay in cash. Because whilst you're American, you can get loans for your schools of choice. We can't get a loan.
Yeah, I mean, our student loan situation is unbearable right now with the United States student loan. I mean, it's trillions of dollars in debt, but that's amazing. I mean, you couldn't even get any loans. You had to fund this out of pocket, get to the States, come up with $500,000, $600,000. Otherwise, your dreams wouldn't. Otherwise, you weren't going to accomplish it. Holy crap, man, that's amazing. All right, so you make 100 grand, right?
Yes.
What happens? You almost put yourself in an early grave. You start puking because of how much risk that was. Like, I can only imagine that weight that was on your chest while you're waiting for that house to flip or that property to sell.
Okay. So after that, what happened they came up with more deals and opportunities, and I would help them. And I basically bought up equity in the business with it for a couple $1 million, basically, over the course of 18 months. And whilst I was doing, so I took equity in their company with what they were doing after, because I had to help them with all sorts of things. I was very good at finding deals and connecting the right people together to make things happen, and it worked. So I played a pivotal role connecting, whilst they would oversee everything and would make everything else happen. I would just be the connector, really. I would find these properties. I'll present it to them. I'll say, look, this is what we can do, and I'll help with financing. They would do all the management of flipping it, selling it, buying it. So my job was really connections and financing. I made a couple million in net worth, but I realized a net worth isn't really much because my lifestyle was still not that great. I wasn't living like most people think millionaires would live. Most people think you make a couple million, you live in a nice luxury penthouse or mansion and drive a fast cars and stuff. I had a beat up old banger, and I wasn't living the lifestyle most people thought. And I thought, this isn't what I wanted. And I realized at that point, this isn't what I want at all. So I went traveling even more, and I ended up getting very, very sick. I ended up with autoimmune disease that attacked my esophagus and my stomach and my gut. So I would bleed and cough up blood every time anything would go past it. Whether I was drinking water, whether I was eating food, it was just irritated so bad I was end up vomiting blood and coughing up blood. So I had to give up my business there at the time with them. And a couple of months after, as I started recovering myself, because the doctor said the only thing they could do for me was surgery with a 50% risk of me dying on the operating table. So I met my wife, and I was speaking to her, and really she put me into the path of set my own business where I can control everything and to live my dreams. So with the money I made, I said to her, okay, I'm going to move to the United States. And I sold up everything. It took a 70% hit on my estate to move to the United States. And I gave up Harvard and everything. So the sale worth I think it's about $4 or $5 million at the time before I was going to sell it. The currency crashed and the taxes were so huge in London that I lost about 40 million in taxes and currency loss immediately.
You lost 40 million?
3 million. 3.
Oh, 3 million.
Out of the 5 million. To move to the United States to live here.
So you lost like over 50% of your net worth while you were moving here.
Yes.
Did you get taxed because you moved to the United States?
Because I moved to the United States, and also because the capital gains tax in the UK is 40% as well.
Okay, so you got taxed because you were leaving the country, and the UK was basically saying, hey, listen, you made this money here. If you want to leave, you have to leave us with a parting gift, basically.
Yeah, and capital gain for the profits, because I didn't hold it long enough. And then the currency drops. Because at the time, it was like $1 to $1.80. It dropped to $1.40 per dollar. So that also took a huge hit.
So moving to the United States was, even though you had tons of money, I mean, I'll put it in air quotes. Anyone who's watching the video podcast of this, you had tons of money, but moving to the United States basically wiped out well over 50% of what you had over in the UK.
Yes, overnight.
Overnight. This is fascinating. Okay, so what always, like in my mind, right? It's kind of like this idea of like big picture thinking, right? What would you do? Like it goes back to the story. Like what would you do if somebody held a gun to your head and said, "Okay, you need to go make $1,000, or you need to go make $5 million," which is kind of closer to your case, right? I mean, you needed at the bare minimum $500,000 to $600,000 just to move to the United States. You had no prior experience in it, so you found the opportunity that was going to get you there. And when you find, like, it kind of starts backwards. Like, I mean, I don't want to speak for yourself, but if I were in your situation and somebody said, "Okay, Joel, you need to go make $500,000 or $600,000 for your next goal, like whatever you want to do. You're moving to another country for X, Y, and Z." It changes your whole world of thinking because you have to think at that scale. Like $500,000 to $600,000 is a lot of money, especially if you've never made it before. But you figured out how to do it. You made millions within 18 months. No experience in real estate flipping, no experience in financial investing and financing, but you found the opportunity and you took the risks. And those stories always fascinate me because when I jumped into the world of information marketing, like my world became really, really narrow. And I know that like there's opportunity everywhere. That was the whole passion with why I started this Experts Unleashed podcast, was to hear stories with just like you said. It's like, you wanted to get to the United States. It was going to cost you literally millions of dollars to do it, but you found a way. And you had huge hits that you weren't even expecting, like the capital gains tax and whatever tax you had to pay to just get to the United States.
Yes, and at the time, I wasn't even thinking about $1 million or $500,000. I knew I had to make it. I was so bitterly unhappy and depressed, and it's also contributed to why I had that autoimmune disease. They actually gave me a year to live, and I was like, I can't really live like this if I'm that unhappy. What is the point of working all hours, living like this, if I'm miserable? To me, life is about happiness, and when I took these opportunities, it was one step at a time. I didn't think about, I'm going to make $1 million off this. I always thought about making millions. I'm like, it was desperation, to be honest. And I said, if I don't do something radically different, I'm never going to be able to get my dream anyway. And Einstein's law is, do something over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. So I really loved physics and science, as I said. That's why I tutored it, and I was good at it. I said, let me use Einstein's law. Let me try something different. If I don't take this risk, nothing's going to change. I'm going to be stuck where I am. So sometimes it's about stepping outside the comfort zone and taking that one risk, because that one risk can change your entire life. That one opportunity opened up opportunities with these guys that allowed me to make that money. It wasn't something I said, I'm going to make millions with these guys. It wasn't even what I was thinking. I just wanted to get the foot off the ground and get myself into a comfort zone so I can find a way to make that bigger money through remaining money. So the real key is take that next step.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, within 18 months, everything changed. And I mean, regardless of the stress, I mean, obviously there's going to be ups and downs with the entrepreneurial roller coaster. But the fact of the matter is you made millions of dollars within 18 months and you had zero experience when you first started with that. I love that. Okay. Excellent origin story. So I want to pivot real quick because you've made other pivots to get to where you are here, right? Where you are today. So you went to the United States, and where did you move to? Where did you land in the United States?
So I moved to Indiana because I came across a beautiful home. Well, 7,000 square feet. I got a great deal on it at the time, or what I thought was a great deal anyway. It is like a fantastic deal on it. And it was 7,000 square feet, and I always wanted to live in a mansion because I'm very claustrophobic. I ended up with claustrophobia issues after my dad died as well. So I'm like, okay, this space is perfect for me. And also, I wanted to be around my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, a bit more. And I wanted to take advantage of the real estate there over the next 5 years because that area is growing so big. They put $500 million into that town to redevelop it. So I knew the real estate was going to go up drastically. So I said, here's a great opportunity. Let me buy it with the cash I have. So that's what I went and did.
So you landed in Indiana, bought a 7,000 square foot house. What year was this?
This was 2015.
Oh, wow. So this like just happened, like
Yes.
a couple of years ago. I thought you were going to say like 2008, 2009.
No, I only moved to the United States in 2015.
Amazing. Okay, so got an amazing deal on a house in Indiana. How much was the house for 7,000 square feet, if you don't mind?
It was about $500,000.
$500,000. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a really good deal. That's an amazing deal. So you move to Indiana, fly over here. What happens next? Like, okay, now you need to find another opportunity. What's going through your mind?
Okay, so because I had good credit in the United Kingdom, I was going to use my credit here to buy up the real estate in the United States. Mm-hmm. But then they said to me, we don't want to carry the liability risk of using international bank transfers. I'm like, I spoke to you guys and you said you'll give me the credit, but they changed their mind afterwards. So I'm like, oh, I'm kind of stuck here. So I went to the bank and I asked them about getting credit. They said, you don't have a green card, do you? Or a type of visa where I could get my credit. And I said, no. So they said, well, you can't give you credit. So I was stuck with no real estate investments I could make. And like, if I go back to I just sold up and lost a lot of money to move to the United States to do opportunities of business here and pursue opportunities. And now I had no opportunity to make money. All ends were cut. I'm like, I just lost $3 million. I just spent $500,000 on this house. The property taxes went about $15,000 a year. The gas bill was $2,000 a month. I'm gonna be in trouble when I get something off. So I was like, I got myself in a dilemma. I didn't calculate all the things through.
All right. So right now, this is the perfect entrepreneurial story, right? It's just like hit after hit after hit after hit. Like when you think it can't get worse, like they're just kicking you when you're down. Okay. So all of your experience with real estate investing that you just had over in the UK, it's a wash. Can't do any of it in the United States. And that was your plan, right? So now you're basically...
And I had no connections other than my wife.
Yep.
It was my girlfriend at the time.
Uh-huh. So now you've got to start over from scratch again.
Yes.
So your monthly expenses are ballpark, what, $5,000 a month just to live? Like not even...
Just for the bills, it was $4,000 a month.
Right. So $4,000 a month is your expenses just to keep the lights on and like not even paying yourself. It's just keeping the lights on, $4,000 a month.
Yeah, that's including food or the car or anything else. That's
right.
just literally the house running.
Okay, just the house. All right. So what'd you do? What was the plan?
So I was speaking to Amy at the time and I said, okay, what do we do? And she suggested that we get a mentor and find a new opportunity since we couldn't do this and all ends were cut off. So we rang up we're good up to 100 coaching companies, all different ones, from the Brian Tracy to Rich Dad Poor Dad to Proctor and Gallagher, which is Bob Proctor. We rang up about 100 of them, going through to see what we all could do, marry mastermind, to see what we could do to create a business and together, me and her, and be able to make money so we can survive and live. And then I decided I want to speak to the people in charge after I narrowed it down to about 10 people. 4 of them said I can't speak to the people in charge. So I said, all right. And one guy, T. Harv Eker's company, he'd sold his company. So I couldn't work with him. So that was 5. And then the other 5 said I could. And so the first person I spoke to at the 5 was Bob Proctor. And when I spoke to Bob, because I watched The Secret, and I was speaking to Bob, he told me, he said, do you know the name of the meaning of Tariq, which is my surname? I said, no. So he told me about the story of Gibraltar from the Think and Grow Rich, that the guy who conquered Gibraltar, it means the mountain of Tariq. And he told me about burning the ships. And with it, the story inspired me so much. I said to him, okay, I want to join with you. I like you, forget the others. And with it, I paid him $60,000, I think, or it might be $50,000, something ridiculous like that, for basically 13 minutes a month, which works out to about $10,000 an hour for his expertise. And I really felt sick at that time. I was like, oh no, not another 10,000 an hour. So I paid that money. And
was it all up front or was it
all up front, the 50,000?
Oh my God. Okay. So 50 grand up front. Now you're all right.
And remember, right? I never invested in a mentor before. I didn't read books until I came to America, really. I didn't read a single book until I came to America. Oh, sorry, I read about 5 books before I came to America. But so I paid him, and he told me about basically I got to go and learn internet marketing on my first coaching call. And he told me to join OMG Machine and learn how to drive traffic to businesses, because every business needs more traffic. And I asked him why. And he said, because I didn't know what traffic was. I didn't know what Google AdWords was even at the time. I was so unfamiliar with the internet that literally I probably knew less than most 12-year-olds now. I knew how to use Google, and that was about it, and find information on Google. But I never knew what Google AdWords was, Facebook ads, or anything. I never heard of the terms. Or enough, because I never watched the news or anything. So I went ahead and bought every single book I could to learn about the internet and as well the courses that he told me to buy. Information publishing, e-commerce on Shopify, Amazon, SEO, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, YouTube, just to see how I could connect them all together. If I want to drive traffic to businesses, as he said, because without traffic or publicity and visibility, something happens, something terrible happens, nothing. As P.T. Barnum would say. So my thing is, how can I help these people with their marketing and find the gaps in their marketing? So as I was learning it, I also wanted to do Amazon, because I saw a lot of people like from Amazing Selling Machine making millions. I'm like, this sounds like a fantastic opportunity. But what most people don't realize is when you invest in a business, you're going to look at two things. Are you going to make money from an exit, or are you going to make money alongside the exit in your hand? Making money or a profit in a business is great, but what comes in your hand is what actually matters. So after spending about $50,000 in courses and wanting to go into Amazon, I realized that the money from Amazon is not going to happen until about a year later. And I couldn't afford to upkeep my house and my living in that house, as well as do other things with the Amazon business. So I had to redivert again and pivot off Amazon after spending 6 months learning it all in the e-commerce game.
So let's pause real quick. Okay, so here we are. You're in Indiana. You invest $50,000 with Bob Proctor all up front, right?
Yes.
You do your due diligence. You interview 100 people. You say, okay, Bob, you're going to help me. And really, all he was really just telling you about different opportunities, saying, okay, if you want to make money, like he wasn't even telling you how to make money. He was like, you should go invest with somebody else.
Yeah.
So he's telling you about all these other opportunities: internet marketing, SEO, AdWords, the whole 9 yards. So you invest another $50,000, right, into all these other courses for these different opportunities, just to figure out what's going to be your biggest opportunity, right?
Yes.
So you try Amazon, you try e-commerce and Shopify, and then eventually you stumble upon the one-man gang, which is OMG, and they taught you how to do what?
SEO at the start.
SEO, search engine optimization. So driving traffic. You found, so okay, here's the clarity. The main value proposition that you found was being able to drive traffic to businesses, to other businesses, right?
Yes.
You drive traffic, you drive leads, and you drive business, right? So that's your big opportunity that you found.
Yes.
So tell me, how long did it take you to discover OMG after you hired Bob Proctor?
Bob told me about it about 60 days after. When I decided I started learning about Amazon, he said, why don't you go and join OMG as well? So 60 days after I joined with Bob, I joined OMG for $8,000. It's an $8,000 course, by the way.
$8,000 to learn how to do SEO.
Yes.
Okay. So $8,000 to learn how to do SEO plus Amazon selling machine, which that was like $3,000 to $5,000, right?
That was $5,000 at the time.
$5,000. All right. So 60 to 90 days after you paid $50,000 to Bob, you're still not generating any money, right?
Yes.
Still not generating any.
Because my wife had a heart condition as well. We needed to clear up the toxicity in her body and also in the water. And this is how bad the water was in Indiana, where we live. It's one of the most polluted cities. I think it's the second most polluted city in America, which we didn't know at the time. When I took a shower, my skin would actually go into like scales. It would turn into scale from the water. It was that bad. So I had to drop out about $16,000 for a whole water filtration system at the home. And as I uncovered everything from my medical background, I bought an $8,000 mattress, 2 of them, so we could sleep properly and healthy, so we didn't damage our lungs.
A mattress to help you with your lungs?
Yes, because when you breathe chemicals from your mattress, it actually damages your lung lining really heavily. So I wanted one that wouldn't do it. And there's only about 5 companies that are actually honest that won't actually damage your lungs. And they start from 1,000 to 8,000. I bought the $8,000 mattresses because it was more comfortable. I wanted the comfort at that time. Without amount of stress, I just wanted to be comfortable.
Wow.
I'm like,
All right.
I need something to keep better.
All right. So let's get back on track. Basically, you're just shelling out money. You're shelling out
Yes,
tons and tons
seriously.
and tons and tons of money, right? Until you finally you try Amazon, you try e-commerce, you realize the money's not really there to keep you sustaining. And you learn SEO and you figure out, okay, great. If I can drive traffic to businesses, this is a huge opportunity. Like the value opportunity is there. Okay. So when did the light bulb moment finally click and you said, this is it versus everything else? That's what I want to know right now.
Well, I was speaking to people and they like, we were struggling to get business in. And I realized that we could get business for them and they were paying me. Because they're just a conversation, natural conversation. They said, what are you actually doing? I said, I'm doing e-commerce. I was making decent money on monthly term revenue, but it wasn't really anything that was going to come into my hand. It was going out of pocket, basically. Mm-hmm. So like the revenues were great, but it wasn't profit into my hand. So they were asking me, this interesting. I said, what actually did you guys make and how are you bringing your business in? Just ask some curiosity because I was trying to find ways to bring in more sales at a profit for myself. And they said, we're really struggling to get leads in. And I realized, oh, I can help you actually get in Google. And that was the connection I had, a light bulb. And then I started looking up everybody in page 2 of Google and I asked them the same thing in about 5 different niches. And I realized, okay, this is the moment that I've been waiting for. Here's my opportunity. It's something that every business is going to need no matter what's going to happen in life. The 3 things that people will always pay for: more business, closing more business, or making their business able to be more systemized so they can buy their time and grow it even more effectively. So I said, if I can learn these 3 skills, I'm going to work out the first skill. I didn't realize about the other 2 skills till afterwards. If I can learn this skill, I'm going to be great.
What businesses did you target for SEO? Because SEO doesn't work for every business. Like it's not really good for online businesses, right? It's primarily
it can work for online businesses, but it depends on what you're aiming. It's all based on keyword research, and how you're going to do the SEO as well. There's so many factors to it, and what's your back end with SEO. But I targeted local businesses. I was looking at chiropractors and dentists and lawyers, especially lawyers. Mm-hmm. But so I decided, okay, I want to do this, and I thought it was going to be the easiest sale in the world at the time. I was just naive about it. So I went and cold called, and I did about 40 cold calls. I got rejected from everybody. So my wife said, looking bummed, what's wrong? And I said, well, basically, I cold called, I got no business, I can't seem to make money no matter what I'm doing. And I still had my green card at the time. So she said, let me try cold calling. She did about 10 cold calls and got me 4 appointments. I'm like, well, I just tried 40, I got 0. And I closed one of them for $1,500 a month. So it was like a real light bulb and inspiration for me. Then I was like, I need to learn sales. And I realized I had to learn sales. And no one taught me that, even Bob. He didn't mention about sales until well afterwards. I'm like, so great, now I have to learn sales. Another skill I have to go and shell out money for and learn.
Did it frustrate you how difficult it was to make money in America versus how much money you made in the UK?
It was really stressful. I ended up with the West Nile Virus in the summer of that year, and about 5 months after being in the United States. I had a fever of 54 degrees or 106. I didn't go to the hospital. I stayed at home and just looked after myself with my wife's help and my mother-in-law at the time. And I was trying to work on my laptop. I was burning up. And I was working 19 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to find a way to make money, trying to learn how I can make more money and get people to trust me and buy. Because my name, my actual name is Immy Tariq, but everyone just calls me Immy for easy. So because everyone thinks I'm from the Middle East, even though I'm not. I'm actually from London. They just basically didn't trust me because of my name. The racism was very strong in the Midwest, and especially in Indiana. Second thing is my accent was even stronger at the time, and they couldn't understand me as easily. So it's very hard to sell. And then also I didn't know sales at all. So everything was working against me. And I was trying to read and learn and trying to make money work. It was extremely frustrating because I had nothing to help me, unlike in the UK where I at least had connections. I had relationships that I could rely on. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages in life is relationships. But without any relationship, your back's against the wall. And you just spent a lot of money and you've got no way to go back. Mm-hmm. And then after a couple of months, I had no way I could go back, especially after dropping out about 50 grand in organic stuff, just trying to live. I said, I can't go back. I want to be broke because London is so expensive. So I couldn't even afford to go back to London at that point.
So one of the things that you said that people really need to understand is that you started to make the easiest sale in the world, right? You had to find the path of least resistance. And it's so critical. I mean, and honestly, like if I think back to your story, you did like the easiest sales in the world for you at the time when you were fixing viruses on computers. Like you knew a burning pain for those college students was they had all their information on their computers, like, but you found the leg in, which was, oh, I'll give you your free music back too. But in the meantime, I'll fix your virus on your computer so you don't lose all that information, right? Easiest sale in the world. Tutoring business. Take you from a failing grade to an A grade in 90 days, guaranteed, or your money back. Easiest sale in the world, right? I don't know how easy it was to do the real estate investing financing flip, but now when we get to when you found your opportunity in the US with SEO and you saw the big opportunity, which was number one, people were willing to pay money for, which was business owners. Business owners have money to invest. And I preach this from the top of the mountaintops when people are like, oh, I want to go into the consumer niche. Like I want to create an info product on how to train my cat. And like, if you're just starting out, do not do that. Like if that's your long-term goal, awesome. But you have to go where the money is. You have to find the skills of where the money is. And business owners, like going into the business niche, they're willing to pay, and they're really willing to pay for sales and marketing advice or services. So even though it took you a long time to figure this out, you ultimately came to the conclusion that you needed to find the easiest sale to make because you had all the cards stacked up against you. You were a foreigner, the accent, your name. I mean, like you just listed off all of these things, all the debt that you had to go into, or maybe it wasn't debt, but like all the money that you had to shell out just to learn these skills. But ultimately, the momentum came when you found the easiest sale to make.
Yes, and what I realized was the easiest sale, because here's the thing. When you're talking SEO and you want to change someone's business, it takes an investment, and sometimes it's more than the mortgages or the car payments. This is saying, for example, like a nice Ferrari is like $2,000 a month, sake of argument. Or let's say a nice Range Rover or BMW, even let's take a BMW, it's $500 to $700 a month. You're asking for more money than a car payment on a nice luxury vehicle. People didn't want to commit to the sale. So I found it very hard to make them commit to that sale. And they're getting hit. And I didn't realize how big the competitive industry was at the time. They're being hit by 100 cold calls and emails a day, thousands of cold emails a day, I should say. So I'm like, to try and differentiate, it was very difficult to make that easy sale. So I realized I had to go in and build a relationship with these people first and start with trust. And I realized that everything came down to trust. I didn't buy from the other coaches that I ever bought from. If I didn't buy from them, it was down to a lack of trust. It's really what it comes down to. Every sale is down to, I don't trust you, or I don't trust the product, or I don't trust the service can help me. It's one of these three things. When I won't say it, they'll make an objection of some kind, oh, we want to think about it, or whatever. It's always down to these three things. But at the time, I didn't know that. And I was trying to make these sales happen, and it wasn't happening. And then I realized if I could go in with something that was a no-brainer, something like I did with these guys, for the fixing the music, I charged them half the music track. So, for example, fixing a issue in their security, I'll charge you $20. It wasn't worth my time, to be honest, but I needed to make money and to get my foot in the door. I fixed it for them and I over-delivered. So I over-promised and I over-delivered. I don't like this term, under-promise, over-deliver. I had to over-promise and then over-deliver on top of that. Mm-hmm. So when I did that, they trusted me so much. When I hit them up with something else, they're like, okay, you know what? We like you. We're going to do this with you. Because $20, everyone had that in their pocket, pretty much.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I said, this is the money that they can spend, $10, $20. Then let me get them for that, because no one's going to complain about $10, $20.
Right.
So that was the easiest sale. So at the start, I was only making about, let's say, $200 a month. Aside from the 1,500 deal I had for about 3 months. But I ended up building these relationships, and then all of a sudden, about 3 months after that, I started hitting 5 figures a month.
So, and this was all from cold emailing. So your marketing was just cold outreach.
I actually did it from cold calls. Everyone else was cold emailing them as well, but I did cold calls.
It's probably the most difficult method to acquire clients is cold calling, but you made it happen, right? So.
Well, I was more confident with my ability to speak than I was with my ability to write. I'm not a very good writer. I had even an editor edit my book to make it more legible. That's how I just prefer to think. Writing wasn't my skill. I've become much better at writing now, but I was very good with the written and with the spoken word.
Awesome. Okay. So you start out with a $20 sale to ultimately ascend them into a $1,500 a month retainer. And you got to 5 figures a month within 3 months after you landed that first gig, right? So 90
Yes.
days after you learned the skill from the OMG training, you landed your first client, right? 1,500 a month. Then 90 days after that, you got to 5 figures a month. So like 10 grand ish.
Yes. Yes.
So in 180 days, which is 6 months, you finally got to about 10 grand a month in recurring revenue with how many clients?
It was 7 clients.
Okay, so 7 clients got you to about 10 grand a month, right? So let's fast forward, right? Because this was what you ultimately decided to specialize in now, SEO,
Yes.
right? So how did you scale it up? Like, how did you launch and take it to the next level? Are you still cold calling? Like, how has your approach changed? Are you still doing the same things?
Okay, well, what I did over the 2 years, I scaled myself up to about 15 to 20,000 a month. It drops sometimes when I have to spend more money and stuff. I said that I'm happy to, while I'm making 7 figures, to me, I realized a principle in life. This is my own mindset. Everyone wants to call equality in their relationships or in their life. I like to say I want to become essential to people. So I said, once I got comfortable where I am, while I'm making the maximum amount of money, I don't look at the short term. I look at the bigger term. I said, if I can become essential, when I meet the right people or the right opportunities, I can get them and I can make myself stand out. So my thing was about becoming essential to these people. So I really focused heavily on just becoming essential to everyone I could help and whatever thing. And I said, you really want to make 100 million people dollars. You can help 100 million people, or you can help 1,000 people who are very, very wealthy, and we'll pay you a couple million each.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, let me do this. So I went after to learn about the rich, how they actually thought, how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they work, and what they need help with. And I made myself essential to people. So whenever I meet people now, I will try and find how can I help them. And because once your network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing was, how can I build my network, sorry. Once I built my network, I know that if I lost everything, I will have a network here now that I can bounce it back on and rebound it back up to the top. To me, that was more important because I wanted to manage the downside risk more than the upside risk. But it's nice to say you got $1 million in the bank. It's nice to be able to say a million, but it doesn't go far anymore. 8 figures is the new 7 figures. 10 million is the new 1 million. And I'm like, okay, I can even make 10 million or I can, but then what happens if I lose it all? Many of my mentors who I surround myself with 8, 9, and 10 figure billionaire mentors, they all went bankrupt even after making tens or hundreds of millions and had to rebound back. And I thought, that may happen to me. It's better for me to become essential, not weigh my income, but become essential and learn the skills and get the network. So if that ever did happen to me, I can always bounce back and make my life much more comfortable than what they had.
That's amazing,
And
man.
that was my aim.
That's an awesome life lesson. And it takes a lot of crash and burn to figure it out. And it takes a lot of ups and downs to figure it out. But when you do study the rich and the ultra successful, you realize they all most everybody crashed hard. They either went bankrupt or they went worse than bankrupt. Very, very rarely do you see somebody just launch and go to the moon, right out the gate. But
one of my mentors, he failed in 8 businesses. The 8th one went bankrupt and he was in debt on the 6th, 7th, and 8th business. 9th business, he had to raise $1 million in 72 hours. And then after that took off, he lost all his money, went debt again. His 10th business finally got him really wealthy. He did 9 figures.
Amazing.
And I saw these stories all the time. I'm like, I have to become essential first. And I have to think, because I want to go through the same issue. If I ever wanted to move, let's say I want to move to Australia, I want to go through the same crap I did in America from moving from England to America. I don't want to go through that same crap again. So I focused, but I think a lot of people dream about making $1 million, but I think you do dream about creating the maximum of value and become the best business yourself to create that value before you chase the money. Money is important in life, but I think more important is your relationships with people and the way you can help change the world better. And you become essential to yourself and to others. The stronger you are as an asset, the better and faster you will bounce back from any issues in life, regardless of what happens. I think that's the most important skill in life.
Love it, man. I love it. It's super powerful. For me personally, it's important to entrepreneurs and experts, we go a million miles an hour. Sometimes our brains can bounce all over the place, opportunity seeking to opportunity seeking. And it's really hard I find it really difficult to stay focused. But those who are able to stay focused and continue to pursue after trial and tribulation, the entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to always get up, regardless of how hard we get kicked down. And that's what's going to define your success.
Yes.
Immy, man, we talked about a ton today. And this was an awesome conversation. So thank you so much for sharing. I mean, I just want to quickly recap everything that we talked about, all the notes that I've been taking. So you started at age 12, pursuit of entrepreneurship. I mean, making $400 to $500 fixing computer viruses, for people who were stealing music and ultimately lost their computers. Then you went into the tutoring business, then you went into real estate financing, and now you're crushing it in SEO, learning a very, very difficult lesson when you moved to the United States and you literally lost way more than half of your net worth just to get here, going through all of your health scares and financial tribulations, and now you've got the momentum building up. You're on CNN, CNBC. I mean, like this is the life of an entrepreneur. This is the life of figuring out how to become an expert. And the one thing that I want to dub you in is because I always want to dub somebody as the expert in something. You are the expert in finding opportunities, right? That's what every entrepreneur needs to be. Is opportunities are everywhere. Like particularly with my story, I had no idea that webinars was going to be my thing to get me started and get me launched, and it just happened to be because I went broke. Like I legit went broke, and I found an opportunity, and then I seized it, and I quickly went to 5 figures a month because of it. So, anyway,
so I want to say one thing. To find opportunities, my advice is 2 things I'll say. One is with the obstacles away. It's about bouncing back. Second thing, finding opportunities is why I come to my point of essential. Webinars is essential to information marketers to succeed. Right? If you really want to find opportunities, find a gap in the market. What's essential to them to be able to keep growing. That is the key. It's becoming essential, as I said.
It is, man. So let's do this before we sign off. Where can people connect with you? Where can people find you?
Facebook at Immy Tariq, or on LinkedIn at Immy Tariq.
Okay. So do you have a website, or like if somebody wants to reach out to you?
My website is webmetricsgroup.com.
Webmetricsgroup.com.
Yeah, so WEBMETRIX group.com.
Awesome, dude. Immy, it's been a pleasure. This conversation was awesome. I know everyone who's listening right now, they're going to get a ton of value and information for how resilient you've been and always keeping their eyes open to the opportunities. So I appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for sharing your story. And for everyone who's listening right now, thank you for checking out this episode, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to giving you the next one. Now, if you want additional trainings and content outside of the podcast, I release exclusive video trainings on my Experts Unleashed YouTube channel. And if you'd like to come hang out with thousands of other fellow experts, join our Facebook group community where we do hangouts and webinars to help support you in your journey. Finally, if you'd like my personal help to develop, launch, or scale your business, contact me directly for private consulting opportunities to see if any spots are available. And you can find all of the information above at expertsunleashed.com.